Hi everyone, this video is going to be an overview of a new brand that has been added to Ulta's online store. It's called Makeup Revolution, and it was previously, I believe, a UK brand that has now been brought over to the US via being available through Ulta. So this is supposed to be an affordable but good quality brand. From many comments that I have read on my What's New in Beauty video, people are saying that they have very good offerings at very affordable prices, so I'm really hoping that that stands true. I previously did some reviews for the 2B brand, which is another affordable brand that was added to Ulta's website a few months ago, and I was pretty disappointed with that affordable brand of makeup. I did not think that the items were of good quality, even though they were on the affordable side. So I'm really hoping that the Makeup Revolution brand is different in the sense that it will have good quality products while still being affordable. So in this video, I will do swatches for you of the colors. I have selected a good sampling of what's available in the range, but there is really a ton of stuff that is available through this brand. So this will be a sampling, but certainly won't be nearly everything in the line. In particular, you won't see things like the foundations and mascaras and eyeliners, all of which are available. I'm trying to concentrate more on the products with color so that you can see true swatches. So this video will be my first impressions of these items with the swatches. And as always, please see the description box below. I will be doing reviews on the individual products or sets of products at allurabeauty.com. Now, with all of that aside, let's get into looking at the items from Makeup Revolution. All right, so let's start it with a couple of the matte blushes that are offered. There are a total of 6 shades. I'm going to show you 2 in this video, and these retail for $5 each. This shade here is Beloved, and this shade is Dare. So here's Beloved, which is a coral on the skin. And here it is with a second layer applied. Okay, so you see it's got good color on it. The pigmentation or the finish is a little translucent, but it's nice and bright on the skin. It looks like it may oxidize just a little bit as it settles. And here is Dare, which is a really bright magenta pink. Here it is with the second layer, not that you need it. You can see that it's very bright in color and still maintains sort of a translucent finish on the skin, which actually makes it look really nice and smooth and sort of one with the skin. Okay, so there's 1 and 2 layers of Dare. You can see both these blushes have very matte finishes. And just so you can see heavy swatches, here are the 2 blushes side by side. And this is one of the Ultra Blush and Contour palettes. There are 2 different sets of shades. This one is the Sugar and Spice palette, and it retails for $10. And as you saw with the plastic overlay there, these are divided into shimmering, matte, and baked formulas and finishes. Now, I don't have individual names for the colors, so what I'm going to do so that I can group them by finish is that I'm going to go by columns. So I'll do the shimmering ones, the 2 matte columns, and then the baked columns. Okay, so here's the first shimmering finish shade. This is more of a brown nude or like a bricky rose type color. I'm gonna apply 2 layers of each shade unless the first layer is really smooth. I think part of the reason why I don't get as smooth of a finish as with these single blushes is because the pans are smaller, so it's hard to get an even layer of the color over the brush. Oh, and I think I misspoke. It's actually, this shade is the only one that's designated as a shimmering shade. The next 5 are supposed to be matte shades. So I'm still going by column here. And this shade is a rosy pink. Okay, so there's the first column of shades. Even the shimmering finish shade doesn't have a huge or really noticeable shimmer. I think it's pretty faint actually. All right, moving over to the next column. This shade Really is a nice nude, slightly rosy tan. Here's the next shade, which is another bright magenta. It's more red than the single blush shade that I swatched, which was Dare. There's a little more pink with a hint of purple. Alright, so there is your second column of blushes. Moving on to the next column, we have a bright yellow-based, almost corally pink. Here's a second layer, just to build it up. These have pretty good pigmentation, so you don't necessarily need 2 layers for each of them. And then we have a soft peach. Pigmentation on this one's a little more sheer. 2 layers might be called for. Again, it's a little hard to tell with just swatches. Sometimes you really need to apply it to the face in order to see how these perform. Alright, there's the next column of blushes. And last is the baked column. The top row is this frosty, silvery shade with a hint of pink. It's definitely more of a highlight. And the bottom baked shade also has this metallic finish. This is more of a mauve-y rose color. But again, it's so frosty that I would really use this as a highlight as opposed to all over the cheeks. Alright, there are your 2 baked shades. And here are heavy swatches for you. To stay consistent, I am still doing these by column. Okay, so these are the 4 shades on the left side of the palette. And here are the 4 shades from the right side of the palette. Alright, rounding out the Color Face products, here we have the Vivid Baked Highlighter. There are 3 different shades of this product, and it retails for $6. The shade I'll be swatching for you is Radiant Lights. Alright, this is what it looks like with a heavy swatch. It's super smooth in texture, and this is what it looks like when applied with a brush. You really don't need to layer this on unless you really wanted a more intense effect. Right, and here's what it looks like up close. Next up, I'm going to show you some eyeshadow palettes. There are several of them in the Makeup Revolution line. This one here I'm going to show is the Essential Mattes Redemption Eyeshadow Palette, and these retail for only $7 each. So the palettes contain 12 eyeshadows each. As you could guess from the name of this palette, these are all matte finish shades. And again, they don't have individual names, but I'll just swatch them from left to right. So first we have this cream color. Next we have a very pale banana yellow. Third is a pale nude with the slightest of pink undertones. Fourth is another pale nude. This one has more peach, or very pale peach undertones. Fifth is a very soft tan. And sixth is a medium brown. Right, they're the first 6 shades. They have a very, very soft, smooth formula to them. Seventh is a very pale, cool toned taupe. 8th is a blackened plum. 9th is a grade blue. 10th is a black. 11th is a slate purple. And 12th is a slightly slated lavender. Alright, and there's your second set of 6 matte shades. Next up is one of the iconic Redemption eyeshadow palettes. There are a few of these with different colors. I'm going to show you the iconic 1 palette. Again, this is only $7, and the 12 shades in this palette are a mix of shimmering and matte finishes. Again, over primer, we start with a shimmering pale nude. Second is a soft metallic pink, the silvery finish. Third is a soft matte tan. Fourth is a soft shimmering tan brown. Fifth is a soft matte brown. And sixth is a metallic yellowed gold. Okay, so these are the first left 6 shades from the palette. Seventh is a shimmering golden brown. Eighth is more of a gray brown, again with a shimmering finish. Ninth is a shimmering burgundy plum. 10th is a shimmering olive. 11th is a shimmering midnight blue. And 12th is a shimmering silvered navy blue. Okay, so there's the second set of 6 shades from the Icon 1 palette. It seems like these are not as smooth and creamy as the shades in the matte palette. Okay, moving on to some lip products. First, I'm going to show you a couple of lip glosses, and they have a couple of different formulas. So I will show you one shade of the Salvation Intense Lip Lacquers and a shade of the Salvation Velvet Lacquer. And both of them retail for $5 each. So for the Intense Lacquer, this shade is Didn't I Tell You? And for the Velvet Lacquer, the shade is Rebel. Alright, so here is Didn't I Tell You, which is a medium rose pink. And Rebel is a medium berry. And you can see the more velvety finish on Rebel and the more glossy finish on Didn't I Tell You. And then we have a few of the amazing lipsticks, which cost only $3 each. This is the shade Love Nude. Here is Crime. And this shade is Lady. So here's Love Nude, which is a medium beige tan nude. Here's Crime, which is a very bright magenta. And here is Lady, which is a cherry red. Alright, here are your 3 lipstick shades, and the range of lipsticks have different finishes just depending on which colors you purchase. And last up, I'm going to show you one of the Ultra Cover and Conceal palettes. These cost $10 each, and they come in 3 different shade combinations: light, light medium, and medium dark. The one that I will show you here is light medium, so I'll just swatch the colors for you and then you can sort of assess from there which of the 3 shade ranges would best suit you. And this time I will swatch them by row, so I'll do the first 4 on the top and then the bottom 4. Alright, so just really quickly, here are the top 4 shades. So the 2 lightest are actually the first and the third shades there. This one has a more yellow undertone. This one seems to have more of a peachy undertone. This last shade also has a more yellow undertone, and then the second one here I would say has more of a neutral undertone. Alright, and from the bottom row, so again, a slightly yellow undertoned shade. This shade's pretty pale, I'm not even sure what undertone that has, probably a neutral undertone. You have more of a, I would say, peachy undertone to this shade, and then you have actually almost like an orangey yellow undertone to that last shade. I'll probably use that one for bronzing or maybe contouring. And there is your look into Makeup Revolution. I am encouraged and optimistic by the initial impressions that I have and the swatches that I've done. I think that the matte palette is actually pretty impressive. Again, it's sometimes hard to tell really what the eyeshadow or the formula, how that will perform in actual use. So that's why it's important for me to actually test them out fully and then do the written reviews. But they seem to have a very creamy formula. The Iconic palette actually had not as good of a formula across the board, which is interesting because usually shimmery shades are easier for companies to get a good formula on than matte shades. But again, for $7, it's hard to complain, and again, the quality might improve in actual use. I really like those single blushes. I think they're going to look really nice on the skin, and hopefully they'll blend in really well. So stay tuned for those written reviews. I hope that this video gives you at least some sort of insight into the brand as a whole, and maybe gives you an idea of which colors you would want to purchase. If you have any thoughts on this brand, if you've tried anything out, please leave me a comment in the comment section below. I hope that this was helpful to you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video. Like last month's What's New in Beauty video, this month I am also going to give away an array of products. I think maybe I might make this a monthly type of thing if I can get enough items together to just sort of put together a grab bag for a lucky viewer.